He didn't belong on a bike. He didn't know the boy's name. He wasn't even part of that world. But when the trailer went up in flames, a broke veteran dove into the inferno and pulled a child out. What followed wasn't threats or revenge when the Harley engines arrived. It was something the veteran never expected: a vest, a patch, and an offer of belonging. Stay with this. The rest of it might restore your faith in what family can be. It was pouring, sideways rain slashing across the battered roofs of South Glen. Streetlights flickered, gutters overflowed. Tyler Briggs kept his head down, one hand on his daughter's backpack strap, as they hurried away from the diner. She complained about algebra. He nodded because his thoughts were elsewhere. On the past due notices, on the tape he'd seen on their own door that morning. Then a scream cut the night, raw and urgent. Tyler froze. Maya bumped him, puzzled, but he had already turned. Across the street, a weathered trailer was erupting, windows alive with orange smoke vomited from the roof. The rain didn't matter, the fire did. "Dad, get back!" Maya cried. He shoved her toward the diner. "Stay inside." She obeyed without arguing. Tyler didn't wait. He sprinted into the mud-splattered street, boots sloshing, and the fire roared as if it were hungry. The front door was locked. He tried the handle, yanked, and when it wouldn't give, he scanned the yard and saw a busted pickup. Its bed was full of junk, scrap wire, tools. Tyler grabbed a rusted tire iron and smashed a window. Glass rained down, the fire hungrily answered with louder crackles. He pried through a jagged frame, sliced his forearm, and slid into the smoke. Inside it was a world of heat and chaos, a pressure that makes your bones feel like they're on fire. He dropped low and crawled on elbows and knees, shouting hoarsely, "Hello, anyone?" A tiny cough to his right guided him. He found a little boy curled in a corner, bandana tied to his wrist, shaking. Tyler wrapped the boy in his flannel and turned for the exit. Then the roof groaned, splintered, and gave way. Blackness swallowed him. When Tyler blinked back into the world, he was on his back, grey light spinning. Pain lanced through his ribs. His mouth tasted like blood and ash. Voices were shouting, hands on his shoulders, strong arms pulling him free of the wreckage. He felt cold rain, the lift of being carried. He didn't let go of the boy, holding him like he held onto something that mattered. Maya's voice sliced through the fog. "Dad, oh my God." She reached for him, drenched. He tried to form words, but none came. Then the thunder of Harley engines rolled down the street. 1, 3, then more, a deep, relentless arrival that made first responders pause. The lead rider dropped his helmet and ran to the ambulance, collapsing to his knees beside the stretcher. "That's my son," he whispered. "Landon, please tell me he's alive." His voice split, the paramedics froze. Tyler, propped on the stretcher and barely able to speak, croaked that the boy was breathing, but needed oxygen fast. Their eyes locked, two men who'd both stared into danger. The biker looked wrecked with worry, a man who appeared as if he'd seen war. In that instant, words weren't necessary. Something passed between them, an unspoken recognition, a quiet kind of gratitude. At the hospital, Tyler lay wrapped in bandages and tape, ribs stabilized. A nurse had left a peanut butter sandwich within reach. His phone buzzed with missed calls and shaky video uploads. Local news splashed the headline, "Veteran Rescues Child from Blaze." Tyler didn't feel like a hero. Heroes, he thought, didn't worry about rent or lose jobs after missing shifts. Heroes didn't have mortgage notices waiting on the table. Maya sat close, a warm hand on his shoulder, bringing him coffee like a tether to ordinary life. He tried to unwrap the sandwich with one hand and failed. Then the door opened and the biker from the fire entered, flanked by two others. He walked in quietly, eyes red and hollow with worry. Tyler only saw the father. The man removed his sunglasses. "My name's Rain," he said. "Landon's my boy. The doctors say he's alive because of you." Tyler took his hand, feeling its strength. Rain reached into his vest and pulled out something wrapped in cloth. He unwrapped it and revealed a small silver pin, a wing-shaped emblem with 3 letters stitched into its curl: AFFA. "This isn't charity," Rain said. "It's recognition." Tyler stared confused. "I'm not," he started. "You don't have to be anything," Rain interrupted. "When someone saves one of ours, they don't stand alone anymore." Then he left the pin and walked out, and in that gesture something shifted in Tyler. Not an identity, but a sense of place. 2 days later, Tyler returned home to find a plain package on his doorstep, a worn leather vest with a small patch stitched inside, and a photo of Landon smiling, missing a tooth. On the back someone had scrawled, "He still asks about you." The vest was neither new nor flashy, cared for, familiar. Tyler didn't know if it was an invitation or a thanks. He sat with it and waited. The next morning a single Harley rolled into his driveway. Rain stood there again, quieter than before. "We don't hand those out lightly," he said. Tyler opened the screen and said, "I'm not a biker." Rain's reply was simple, "You're a dad." You didn't walk away. He didn't try to sell Tyler anything, no loud promises. Just an offer: "We've got room at the table. You don't have to ride or even wear it. But if you ever need us, we'll be there." Tyler kept the vest but didn't wear it in public at first. Then, after a few weeks, he found himself at a warehouse that smelled of gas and coffee and oil. Men worked on engines around repurposed car doors used as tables. They called it church, but it was family in practice, people who spoke with their eyes. Rain nodded to him from the far end and left a chair open. Landon bounced in a chair wearing a tiny version of the patch, grinning like a kid who already felt safe. Tyler felt awkward, unsure what to say. Then an older man leaned back and said plainly, "You're here because when it mattered, you ran toward it. No speeches, no ceremony." Rain stood, placed a hand on Tyler's shoulder and added, "You don't owe us anything, but you belong if you want." Tyler stuck around. He never showed off or tried to be someone he wasn't. He loaded supplies for toy runs, tuned engines others avoided, and fixed leaky sinks in the clubhouse without asking for thanks. He didn't drink, didn't brag. He showed up. That steady presence mattered more than any words. Maya started coming sometimes with cookies or a book, sitting on a tool bench while Landon raced a tiny scooter in the parking lot. The rhythm of new weekends and Wednesday coffee nights settled into them like a pulse. Then, on a routine holiday run, Rain's truck ran a red light. He was hurt, serious enough that Tyler sat through long waits, nights in hospital corridors, bringing coffee to staff and keeping Landon company, so the boy didn't spend the nights alone. Diesel, one of the riders, told Tyler he didn't have to be there. Tyler shrugged. He couldn't sit still. At last Rain came out of surgery, slowly, then suddenly alert, the kind of recovery that breaks you open with relief. His first raspy words were about the boy. "Is he okay?" Other than that, he joked in a rough whisper about keeping his vest clean. It was the kind of humor only insiders share, and in that simple exchange Tyler felt the last wall fall away. A vigil outside the hospital became a scene of quiet presence, dozens of bikes, engines off, helmets resting, hands laid on Tyler's shoulders one by one as an elder named Rook stitched a full patch onto his vest by hand. No fanfare, no clapping, but everyone there knew what it meant. Tyler had become more than the man who ran into a fire. He was someone who stayed afterward, who earned their trust. Tyler still worked his bus, depot shifts, and packed Maya's lunches. He still fixed other people's leaks for free. He didn't aim to be a leader. He just didn't leave people behind. Rain later stepped back and placed another folded vest in Tyler's hands. "This one's for someone else," he said. "You'll know who someday." Rain wanted a voice that didn't shout, a steady, quiet presence that would be heard without needing the spotlight. Tyler kept showing up. He sat across from a bruised teen named Rico through a thick visiting room glass and didn't lecture him about choices. He talked about fear, about fire, about second chances. Rico cried. Tyler didn't flinch. He remembered what it was like to break down in front of someone who kept sitting there. Life outside the clubhouse kept bringing its old wounds up. Tyler passed the corner store where his father used to stumble out on Friday nights. Wallet empty and eyes distant, he had vowed never to become that man. Standing there, Tyler realized he hadn't simply avoided his father's fate. He'd become the father his own child needed. One evening, Maya found Tyler's old Prospect vest tucked away, faded, torn, stained from the fire. "What do you want to do with this?" she asked. He looked at it and said quietly, "Let's keep it." "Why?" she pressed. "Because that's the one I bled in," he answered. They framed that vest and hung it in their hallway under a photo. Tyler, Landon, and Rain, all three wearing full patches and smiling as if they'd come through something together and come out whole. Storms came and went. Once, driving Maya home through a Thursday downpour, Tyler spotted a woman and small boy huddled under a flickering lamp with garbage bags for luggage. No coats, no umbrella. He stopped. Her name was Rita, the boy Elijah. They'd just been turned away from a shelter. Tyler didn't offer a sermon, just towels, soup, a warm shirt, and a place to rest. Small acts like that warmed the apartment more than the heater ever could. Before they left, Rita whispered, "No one stops like that anymore." Tyler smiled. "I used to think kindness was a luxury. Now I know it's a choice." The promise Tyler made, to remember what it felt like when someone reached back, kept being tested. Late one night, sirens blared for a laundromat fire 2 streets over. Tyler didn't wait. He pulled on boots and ran into another burning place. He found an old man trapped and dragged him out moments before the ceiling collapsed. Cameras were there this time. Tyler sat on the curb, suit smudged and coughing, the old man gripping his hand and breathing. That was enough. Not long after, Rain called Tyler to meet him behind an old freight yard where the sunset bled gold. Rain, sitting on his bike, pulled a small box from his jacket and handed Tyler another silver AFFA pin, the same kind Tyler had kept tucked in his vest. "You've built something. Not just for us, but for them," Rain said. "This chapter needs a voice that doesn't raise itself." He placed a folded vest on the rail and told Tyler he was stepping back. "I don't want a title," Tyler said. Rain laughed. "Good. That's why you should have it." The clubhouse grew an outreach wing, shelves of framed photos that weren't about rides but about people. Landon graduating, Maya fixing an engine, Rico outside a courthouse smiling. The old Prospect vest still hung in the hallway, and visitors would always ask whose it was. "His," someone would say. One afternoon, a kid with beaten shoes and shaky eyes came to the gate, unsure whether to trust anyone. Tyler walked out with the patch stitched on his back and held the gate open. "You're right on time," he told the boy. That's how it worked with them. Some heroes don't wear badges. They carry scars, and they speak with silence. They step forward when the world looks away. Tyler never planned to lead. He simply chose again and again not to abandon people. Maybe that's what leadership really is. The quiet decision to stand with others. If this story stayed with you, tell us which part touched you most, the fire itself, or the lives that grew out of what came after. If you believe the strongest bonds are chosen, hit like, subscribe, and keep your vest clean. Keep your heart steady. Never underestimate what one act of courage can ignite.